Hello, everybody. How are you? Just having a few times, just to mellow the rhythm. Whether you can hear me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody joining us today. You're welcome to our show. You're welcome, everybody. I can see you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining us today. You're welcome on the show. Welcoming everybody joining. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody that is joining from Facebook, YouTube. You need to give StreamYard, permission so that I can view you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to my show, Finding Purpose with Seyi. And I'm so excited as usual, always excited to be here every time whenever I come in on the show. And today is going to be really, really great because we're going to be talking to a very special lady, which we're going to be bringing on the screen very soon. And it's just a beautiful day. And I just, I was talking to somebody today, and she was like, "Oh, Sherry, thank you for your show. Thank you for how it's been blessing us, And I'm not as brave to actually come up and tell my story like the other ladies. And I said, it's all about your story. Your message is in your mess. Your message is in your story. Your message is in what you have gone through. You've not gone through all you've gone through just to waste it. Your experience is the power that you have. What you have gone through in life, you might not understand it when you are going through it, like I tell a lot of people. But when at a point in time you begin to pull them together, that what you have gone through at a time, oh, now it's making sense. Now I'm finding purpose in this thing that I've gone through. And that's the reason why I'm passionate about this show, bringing people, looking for people that have gone through one thing or the other and have found purpose through what they have gone through. And in return, they are also able to give back to their society. They are also able to strengthen the hands of the ladies, of the men, of the children, of parents, of husbands, of wife, telling them that you are not alone in your journey. Yes, you might not understand what you are going through at the moment. Yes, you might not understand, how the journey is, but it all comes together at the very end. And if you are watching me today and you're joining, please share, please like, please tell your friends. Don't feel alone. Don't feel alone. I'm passionate about helping people transit from where they have been in their place of pain to their place of purpose. And there's a lot within that journey that you can help one person or the other gain from your story. So if you're also watching me and you have a story and you've been hiding, like this lady I was talking to earlier today, she's hiding her story. Like, I don't want people to know my story. That's all about my story. That story might be a life-saving for another person. That story may be, at that point when the other person is at home and she's thinking, wow, I've got Seyi's story, and Seyi's story has helped me. That person's story has helped me, and that's why we do this show, and that's why I'm passionate about this show today. Today we are going to be talking to a very beautiful lady, and she's going to be sharing her story. And one of the things I like about her is that she's open to share her story despite where she is. She's not afraid to actually let her story out. She's not afraid. She wrote in one of the things I read, a story is what has made her. A story is where she has found life. And that's the same thing for anybody that is watching me today. If you have a story, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need somebody to help you through your journey, please reach out to us. We are here at seyi.findingpurpose@gmail.com. We are happy to help, holding your hand through the journey. Don't do it alone. Don't be depressed alone. Don't feel the burden of life alone. Reach out to people. Let people help you. There's so many help available to a lot of people. And sometimes when I'm talking to people and I wonder, who was there when you were going through this pain? And they're like, oh, I didn't want to tell people. I didn't want people to know what I'm going through. don't do it. This is 2020. There's so much help available, and I'm really passionate. I told somebody this is not just a job for me. This is a passion, because whenever I see where people have been and I see where they are today, it gives me a lot of joy that you can do it. You can do it. You can go all the way, no matter what life throws at you. It's just a detour. And at the end of it, it all makes a meaning. Yeah, so I have my guest at the backstage. She's waiting, and I'm just going to bring her in right now. Hello, gay. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon or good evening. Good
Good
evening. It's
evening.
5 p.m. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
How are
good
you?
evening.
How are
I'm
you?
fine. I'm fine.
Oh, my
I'm great.
audience.
I'm great.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing me. Thank you for using your platform. Thank you for giving us a voice. It's really an honor to be here today. And
Wow.
for the people listening to me, it's an honor to speak to you. I don't think it's coincidence because how we got here, sir, first of all, is by I think divine plan and all. God had to come in a way because I can't say I wouldn't. If you asked me on Sunday, will you be here today? I probably didn't know that. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of your lives today. So it's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so, Oge, and I thank you for mentioning what you just did, because that is what the journey of purpose does to you. You don't know the end of your journey in purpose. Things will just keep going up, once you
True.
keep taking that step. I was talking to somebody today, and I just told him, I said, how it's so good to take action. I saw him on Instagram, and I reached out to him, and we're going up back and forth, and he said, here is my number. Call me, and I was like, oh, should I call? Should I call? And I did call. And the offer that he gave me, I was like, oh my God, it's so
God.
good to take action. It's just so good not to just, not to be in your own world, overburdened, overwhelmed by all that you have gone through. And that was a blessing for me. And just like you said, this time on Sunday, you wouldn't have thought that you'd be here, but
True.
I'm always out there looking for people with fantastic stories. So even as you were talking on the platform, I was like, that is my
Yeah.
story. And immediately I was like, we need to come to my show, because that is my
Yeah.
story.
True. True.
Because,
True.
yeah,
True. True.
because that's what we do here. We help people find purpose in their pain, because that's all life is all about. Helping people. Life
True.
sometimes do not give you all you have planned for. Life sometimes, and it,
True.
it could be anything. And when I'm talking to people about grieving, sometimes I tell them, when you are grieving, is not only about bereavement. It could be your career that's been a pillar to you. Now you have lost it. It could be a
True.
person. It could be your financial stand. It could be anything that has brought you, that has been taken from you. It could be your life of being a single, or your life of being a parent, or your life of
True.
not being able to do what other people think you should be to be able to do. And that's,
True.
but sometimes people grieve on things like that. So when I hear people tell their story, they've gone past through their story, and they're happy to share it. I'm like, yeah, this is another success story. And I'm so glad,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here today. So, Ogo, tell us a
My
little
honor.
bit about yourself today before we go into the cock of the story.
Okay, I say my name is Ogedara. I'm a regular girl, I say. But then the truth is that there's always a saying that there is more to a person that meets the eye. For me, the more to me than what met the eye was polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is something I have had to deal with from the very age of 12 to now. So I think I've lived my life without PCOS and my life with PCOS. With PCOS is actually more than before the PCOS. But then it has been a struggle. It has been a journey. But this year I came into a place where I am ready to share. I have recovered. I have gone from overwhelm to overcome. So I'm
Wow.
Ogedara. I don't. What else would you like to know about me? I'm Igbo. I recently wrote my first ebook, and I started speaking out about my PCOS, about my journey. Most importantly, because as of my first diagnosis, I heard my doctor practically told me this disease is rare. You don't get people with PCOS often. And I'm like, it's rare. I was like 12. I was 12. He was basically talking to my mom. He said it's rare and you find it in adult ladies. And that was 2005. He told me it was rare. By 2020, they are telling me 1 in 10. From rare to 1 in 10. a decade and a half later, what used to be rare is now very common. So this year, I realized it wasn't only me. When I came out to talk, I thought it was only me. In fact, I thought I was talking for the public. People in my personal space were dealing with the same thing. And because you were able to own up, you see them trying to tell you it's not only you, see. So that's basically all I'm about right now. I still have my regular job, but then on the side, I create as much awareness as I can about PCOS on my Instagram page, most especially, and with the book.
Wow, wow. Thank you. I like, I
You're
like the
welcome.
way I was reading your book, and I love the way you introduce yourself. You said, "Oh, I'm the regular girl at home, I'm your regular
Yeah,
wife,
regular
I'm your
girl.
regular colleague, I'm your really
Yeah. You
regular."
just
I'm like,
there's
okay,
nothing.
what a way to
So you
introduce, what a way to introduce yourself to say, oh, I'm that regular person that you don't even see, but I'm going about with PCOS, and I'm all about you. I'm your friend, I'm your wife, I'm your
true, true,
mother,
true.
I'm your colleague, I'm your,
Online,
that
offline, yeah. So
online.
it's just yeah,
So when I
exactly.
when I saw that, I was like, okay, maybe in the next ebook, I will say, okay, I will just take that part, and use that because that was a
I feel
lovely.
free. Thank you, thank
That's
you.
so good. Okay. So I remember today I was posting about the show, and a question, kept coming on. What is PCOS?
Yeah.
And they kept asking me that
Okay.
question. Then I replied them. I said, join us at 4 when we discuss about it. So, okay, before we go
Exactly.
into the
Okay.
main story, before we go into it, two questions I'm going to ask you, what is PCOS? What is that for that
Okay.
normal person that because I didn't, to be fair, I've never heard of it until when I met you. So what's
All right.
PCOS for
Okay.
somebody listening and watching us today before we go into your story? Yeah.
Okay. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. For short, PCOS. Some people call it PCOS. You hear PCOS, PCOS. So these are some of the names it goes by. What is it basically? It's an
Mm.
endocrine reproductive disorder. That when we talk about endocrine, let's leave the science. It's a hormonal disorder. Let me use a simpler word. We know people are beginning to become more aware of hormone disorders. So it's a hormonal disorders that affects women of reproductive age. Hormonal disorder that affects women of reproductive age. So most times PCOS starts as early as in the teenage years, as children start getting to puberty. Like in my case, I'm one of the few who are able to realize their PCOS in their teenage years. Yeah, in fact, I didn't know it was PCOS in my teenage years. I thought it was just ovarian cyst, and we thought we had it taken care of. We'll come to that later. So most
Mm.
people start showing symptoms as early as teenage years. But it goes unnoticed. Our Nigerian, we explain it with different things, and then there's still a level of ignorance about PCOS, even among the doctors. As funny as it is, even among doctors, because I have had series of misdiagnoses, you know. So even among doctors, there's still people not aware. So it starts in teenage years, but most people won't know until they are of marriageable age, or when they finally get married and they're having infertility issues. They now start going from one clinic to another, and then they begin to tell them it's PCOS, is this, is that. That is when people begin to know. But sometimes the symptoms are there as early as teenage years. How do you know? There are three criteria. When I say is a syndrome, PCOS is a polycystic ovarian syndrome. When you hear syndrome about this sickness, meaning it's not one. Malaria is not a syndrome, because you have malaria, but when you don't have to meet the ones they check your blood, you have that P plus plus something. They say you have malaria, right? But in PCOS, it is not about just one criteria. When it's a syndrome, you have multiple criteria that you have to meet. And in PCOS, it's three. There are three criteria. There's first of all, the one you see, this polycystic ovary on, that's how he got his name, polycystic ovary on ultrasound. Okay, so when you look at, when pregnant women, we understand what ultrasound is. When you
Mm.
look at the tummy of a woman with PCOS, with your with the transducer and all, you'll be see the radiologist doing it will see in her ovaries something that looks like a string of pears. You know how a pear jewelry is, like I don't know if you can see, like many small circles. They are actually, these circles are fluid filled sacs that contain follicles that should have been released as egg. So in a woman with PCOS, the poly comes from having a lot of these cysts. A lot. I didn't just say cyst. Most people have cysts. Cyst is not a problem. It is when it is a lot. That is when it's a problem. So first of all, you have to show multiple cysts on ultrasound. The second thing you have to show is hormonal imbalance. I'll put it like that. Actually, it is they call it the biochemical signs. Your hormonal profile, you have to show some hormones not being balanced. Maybe your progesterone, maybe estrogen, maybe follicle stimulating hormone, maybe luteinizing hormone. These are feminine reproductive hormones. So when they are not where they should be, that's a second sign. How do you detect that? Hormonal profile tests. And the last thing is also presence of androgen and male hormones. Some women with PCOS have very high male hormones. So that could be responsible for their PCOS. So I've mentioned 3. If you Google it, you probably see polycystic ovaries on ultrasound, hormonal imbalance, and then hyperandrogenism, meaning high androgenism, many high level of male hormones. So these are the 3 criteria. You don't need to meet the 3 of them. For you to have PCOS, to be confirmed with PCOS, you need to meet 2. So anybody, so that's why PCOS differs from A to B. I have PCOS, she has PCOS. We might not show the same type of symptoms. And that's why the misdiagnosis is common, because there's no hard and fast example of what a typical PCOS woman should look. Is when you look at these criteria and everybody expresses their symptom differently based on the criteria they met. So basically that's PCOS. Reproductive disorder that you have to meet a few criteria to qualify. It's not just one thing. If you have only polycystic ovary, we can't say you have PCOS. You have to have one of the other 2.
Wow.
So we need to make that distinction. So that is what it is.
Wow. I felt I was in a lecturer's class, the way you were.
Okay. I hope I'm not sounding too, sometimes I get ahead of myself and I'm feeling myself like I would have been a doctor,
In fact,
I hope I'm not in that vibe.
I was going to tell you while you were speaking that if you have not considered it, I think you need to go. I don't know, you need to look at medical line. In fact, I was thinking about you need to be a doctor. It's never too late, honestly.
My girls will work out something.
Yeah, because when you were saying it, I was like, okay.
Wow, we want to keep shouting this message forever. So we'll get the qualifications. Yeah.
Yes. And like I said, we can achieve all that we dream to be. And because the way you were saying it was really, really strong, and it was really, really good. Wow. Then my other question to you, Oge. In fact, I was, I was thrown away by the time you were saying it, because sometimes people think it's a misconception, and I wanted to come, and it's good because you said you can detect it as early as your puberty years. Yes, teenage years. Because some people think, it's because that lady has been wayward over time. It's because she was careless about her life. It's because of that. And thank God you've actually said that it doesn't have to be any of that. You could detect it so early, especially with your kids, And a lot of people do not even know, they'll just carry that all through, their lives, and because a lot of people get into, when you say I have that, it's because you've lived a careless life. And meanwhile, they have not in any way. And they just give you the look of being wayward.
They are better than you. I understand. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
The holy of holies.
So now you've told us what it is. So tell us, let's start your journey.
Okay.
How did this start in your life? I know that, when I look at you and the way you were saying, and I was reading your book, I said, how would one person go through all this? Why were they careless that they did not see? No, I was just looking at her, she's young. And she's gone through all this, at a very, very young age, and that really touched me. And if you're watching us, she's going to be telling us, a link to her book. If you're watching us, please, she's not going to tell us all the story, because I want a lot of people to go and get the book, because, we need to encourage Oge. So Oge, tell us, how did this start? And what was your journey like?
Okay, please, on saying that waywardness, I think I have to address that. One of the biggest blessings I think I had in this journey was my mom. I was that I was that 12-year-old or 13-year-old that came home and my tummy is paining me. This one is doing me. I was a border though. And in
Mm.
all of it, I have not seen my period for 3 months. My period is me, and my mom in all of this never for one day said, who did you sleep with? You have gotten pregnant. You are that. Do you understand? She never ascribed my issues to being wayward. And I think that is what we need to extend to everybody. See, I did a short video one day and I said, the fact that you have not seen that you see your period every month does not mean that everybody sees theirs. And it's not always pregnancy. We did not sleep with anybody. We didn't. Just like every other thing in your body, the same way some people have eyes but they can't see, tongue they can't talk. It's the same way you can have everything woman and not see your period. It doesn't mean you slept with anybody. So, first of all, I know we're taught that the only way a period can miss in secondary school is by sexual distance. I agree. But there, even infection can make your period disappear. So, next time when she's looking for her period, extend all these other options to her before you say she has slept with man. I really want to tackle that. We need to be PCOS aware. Because I had PCOS friends that said a doctor had to check their hymen, like to check whether they're still virgin. And I'm like, I got a lot of things, but nobody has ever had to check if my
Jack,
hymen is intact. So, it was very brutal. That's where the awareness is going. So for my own case, I like to say most times for most people, PCOS can start without pain. You just start seeing the symptom. Maybe the girl starts becoming overweight. She's skipping periods. Maybe we'll talk about the symptoms much later. Her periods are not regular. She's getting overweight. She's having mood swings. She's having you just start seeing the symptoms scattered here and there, but there might be no pain. The difference in my own case was that it came with pain, and that is why we had to dictate, because I was always in pain. So like every regular girl, I was a boarder in school, and tummy ache started one day, and then I went home. We thought it was an appendix surgery. We thought it was appendix. Till today, I'm doubting that those people removed my appendix for no reason, because it might have been it might have been a polycystic ovary maxing. Sometimes in my max, if you don't understand, maxing an appendix about to rupture. So we had the surgery of an appendix. But if if you've ever had appendix surgery, you know that after the surgery, pain is supposed to disappear, right? But that wasn't my case. Pain came back. In fact, it came worse. I was still having pains. So we went back to the clinic and like, doctor, what's the problem? And waiting they happen. And doctor says, this one has passed my CADA. I'm sending you to a specialist hospital. And we said, okay. So we went to the specialist hospital. It was a gynecologist. And the gynecologist says, oh yeah, go for this scan, do this, do that, do that. And then we came back. A guy is shaking head and saying, this isn't common. You see it in women that are very old. This isn't common. Now PCOS is common. Remember, I'm talking as far back as 2005. This is 2020. That's 15 years ago. So as of then, it wasn't common. He says it's not common. And actually, I didn't find anybody until my adult years, So he said it's not common. And we're like, okay, what can be done? He said, we'll manage it. We'll manage it. So he starts giving me treatment. He starts giving me medications. And we thought we're managing it. As at then, the only thing he said to me, please, he didn't say, that's why I said PCOS is different from ovarian cyst. What the doctor told me is that you have ovarian cyst on your right ovary. He didn't tell me I have PCOS. We didn't even do the test that for hormones and all, but he could see the cyst from ultrasound, you get? So that was the cyst we're trying to manage. So we started taking drugs, but I'm thinking everything will work out. But in about exactly a year after my appendix surgery, that was one of the days in my life I don't forget. Like I remember the day in details because the pain was from hell. It's like, I can't describe that pain to you. It's like an abortion gone bad, but I have not had an abortion before, but I've heard from stories, It's like a baby dying. I can't even say it's like a miscarriage, but whatever is the higher, it's like your normal menstrual cramps rest to power 100, if there's anything like that. And what happened that morning, I woke up, I was nauseous. I couldn't, at some point, the pain, so before I know it, I couldn't walk. Before I know it was everything. And we didn't know what was wrong. This is another reason why I share my story. Now, if any woman is here and notices PCOS symptom in her daughter, you need to watch out. There are two things that can cause her terrible pain. Because someone has said to me before, but PCOS is not painful now. I said, okay now. That thing, I didn't know what to say to the person. PCOS might not be painful, but there are two or more cases. In fact, I'm not afraid of PCOS as much as I am of the complications. The problem with PCOS is not just is the complications it can lead to. So PCOS in itself might just, do you understand? But the complications, and that day, what I had was a complication. So if you have a daughter, and there's a day she wakes up and she's telling you is this or that, or you have, let's rush her to the hospital. Even if it is abortion she did and she's hiding it, let's go to the clinic. Let's not try and manage it. Do you get? So in my own case, we didn't go to the clinic because I was in a rural area. I grew up in the rural area. And the doctor I was seeing was a specialist who only works on a Monday. He had his clinic days, but I was supposed to see him. I was going to see him the next day, and this was a Sunday. And we thought it was something minor, we could manage. But the pain kept getting worse, and we're looking for all sorts of solution. So by the time we got to the doctor, when we got, he said he said we have to do surgery. After I went for the whole checkup and they saw how inside it, said we have to take it to surgery. So practically, let me explain. What happened to me is what the doctors call ovarian torsion. Because I had cysts on my right ovary, and because the cysts were big, you have two ovaries as a woman, right and left. One can work without the other. In fact, at no point, most times, the two ovaries are not working at the same time. One releases this month, the next one releases next month. So they alternated. So so my own was on the right one. The problem started with the right one. So because he had a lot of large cysts on it. So I told you, if this was an ovary, you have cysts, just round it, round it, round it, round it. Do you get? And they are fluid filled. So they are like balloons with water inside, small balloons. As they keep staying there, they can increase and grow in size, especially when you continue. That's why diet is key to PCOS women, because you can practically be feeding your cysts with what the rubbish you are eating. They'll just be growing fat there and waiting for you. So mine got very enlarged for some reasons I can't explain. I was too young then. So it got enlarged and became so heavy. It was dragging the ovary down. So in that case, what will happen when you have something pulling a heavier weight, So that happened. So the ovary flipped, the right ovary flipped. And as it flipped, that was why I was in pain, the flipping. So it was practically my body, my internal twisting, And if it flips, what connects the ovary? This part is the fallopian tube, right? Because here has flipped. So fallopian tube will twist. And if fallopian tube twists, that is what connects it to where it's getting blood from and all those things. So, So once that happened, and it has happened for over 24 hours, there was no blood supply to that right ovary for almost 24 hours. So it was already getting what do they call cell death? Neceros, all the English of the medical people. So there was already cell death. It was already past recovery. So we go into surgery, they remove the right ovary. But I have my left ovary and it works fine now. It didn't used to, because over time, I didn't know, it got polycystic as well. In fact, most times ovarian cysts are bilateral. I later learned in future. Bilateral, meaning if it happens to one, it can happen to the other. So mine took time. It took one down. Then he went for the second one. And I'm like, oh, this affliction cannot rise the second time, So it was something. I think the second case broke me more than the first, because the first I was practically ignorant. I was like, what you know, anything you want to do it. I just want the pain to go, But the second time, I'm like, am I going to go through this again? You get? But we had surgery and I went home. I recovered from surgery pretty well, but the pain didn't go. And that is why you will know that ovarian cyst is different from polycystic ovarian syndrome. Because at that point, I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which has no cure. You can only manage it with your lifestyle changes. But because the man has told us ovarian cyst will remove this, we're supposed to be fine. We removed it with everything that concerns it, but pain continued. And here we are going from clinic to clinic. I've seen gynecologists. I've heard things. I've done different treatments. Let's just leave that story. So for a PCOS woman listening to me, this story will not be too different from you. Have seen more than one doctor. There's no PCOS case that has seen more than one doctor. And there are a lot of doctors that would dismiss your concern like it doesn't matter. I practically have a doctor. When I was my second diagnosis, I was telling the doctor, I'm not okay. As in, I wasn't looking myself. This girl you're seeing here is like 20 kg lesser than what she used to be. So I was all overweight. And now I even have time. I even wore a week to better week to come here. And try to rub small powder. I wasn't feeling it because my body was. I have inflammatory type of PCOS. So I was practically waking up every day in pains. I was reacting to sugar. Everything was wrong. And the doctor says to me, get your life together. And I'm like, I was so desperate at that point that I was actually listening to her and trying to get life together. But how can I get my life together? If your hormone is out of control, getting your life together is difficult. So that was why when I got to a very bad spot. But when God finally decided to start giving me help and direction, I was so grateful for it. So let me give you an opportunity to ask another question before I go all all the way,
you, you know,
Mm.
thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for, and I like the way you're saying it, because sometimes we tell people that there's a saying, when you see people that have been healed from what they have gone through, they're free to talk about it, because they know what they have gone through. And that's why I can hear
Mm.
you're a woman that have gone through something but has been healed through what they have gone through. Because listening to you, I'm like, you've done the first, in fact, if you were here, maybe they'll probably, I don't know, maybe sue the doctors, because they've done the the appendicitis
Yeah.
operation, they've done the ovary, they've done the fallopian tube, they've done without even eventually. Now just imagine what they will have. I don't know, because when I was actually reading about it, it says it's quite difficult to actually diagnose at instance. But
Yeah, it is.
going through all that was really not necessary, if the right diagnosis has been done
Was
right
done.
from the very beginning for a very young girl. Because I'm just trying to imagine, because if you have noticed this as 12 years old and you've gone through the appendicitis, you've gone through the removal of the ovary, you've gone through the torsion, you've gone to the fallopian tube, you've gone to that eventually before you were now diagnosed of PCOS. What a painful journey. What a painful journey. And on behalf, I know, and on behalf of the doctors, I know they are rural where they are in Nigeria and all that, but I would want to say sorry, because really you didn't have to go through all that you have gone through the doctors, like
I
what you have
agree.
said also. And some a doctor also telling you that get yourself together. And I like what you said. If somebody, and people listening to me also need to understand that, because we are quick to tell people what's wrong with you. Why can't you get on to pick? Are you the only one that something is going on with? Why, and we say all those kind of things without understanding, what the person is going through.
You're
You
going
know,
through.
going through. And it's so important that what we say, and that I say that on the show, what you say to that lady, that man next to you, you need to be careful, because a lot of people put a facade covering themselves, the
Yeah.
makeup, the hair, and all that, just to keep themselves okay for that day. Your words to them can either help them or break them. The words we
Um,
speak to people are supposed to be live, because you have no idea, what they have
what they're
gone through
going
or
through.
what they are going through at that moment. Make sure, and I say that make sure that your contact with everyone is the best memory that they will
They will
remember.
have. That's a
I
very
met
good one.
Oge
Yeah.
and she changed my life. I met Oge for 5 minutes and her words built my life. Her words gave me life. Her words gave me energy. Her words were able to propel me. And that's where we are as the environment, as our churches, as our friends. We need to constantly do that. So my other question to you also, I know that eventually, you were diagnosed with PCOS, but for a society like Nigeria that measure ladies with the ability of having children and fertility, how have you been able to cope with this, especially coming
Okay.
out with your message? What are the challenges along the way that you have faced, during this? How, I just imagine, because somebody is listening to it and say, oh, okay, you don't know what I'm going through. I'm a
Mm.
single girl, I'm a married, and this is because of your society and
Hopefully.
expectation, expectation of people that a woman is supposed to, be fertile and all that. How did you cope? How have you
My
been able
dear.
to cope? Tell us some experiences that you've gone through,
My dear.
especially coming out now and working with people with PCOS.
Okay. So first of all, if you think me talking to you as I'm talking to you here now, I finished describing to you how they took away my right ovary, Abi. I have left. I like to always say that before you people crush my crushes. Did you hear that statement? Crushing my crushes. Hey, Joe, in case you want to do a part of this video and say, she said, see, I still have one. And with one, I'm going to give birth to my babies, not one. Hey,
Amen.
Joe.
Amen.
So let me clarify that. See, if you think it's easy for me to say, you lie. I hate being is what they call that English or vulnerable. Abi. I hope I'm
Yeah,
pronouncing it
vulnerable.
right.
Yeah,
I hate
vulnerable.
to I hate to come from that place. In fact, I fought this. In fact, I
Mm.
fought like this year. I have cried as in this year. As in when I got the direction, I wouldn't. It wasn't. I say it's divine because here I am. I wanted to share my story at some point, but I wanted to share it when I have kids. So I tell you, do you understand? I wanted to be comfortable. Like I already, there's nothing you can use to disqualify me now, right? I wanted to be sure I had kids. Then I'll come out and tell you people. Then, but now I have kids. Then this year God was like, no, you're writing it as a book, you're sharing it this year. And I'm like, no. Now I now wrote the funny enough, he brought resources. When God gives a direction, he'll provide resources. So here I am writing a book. And then I didn't have a problem writing the book, but when I was done writing the book, my coach as at then was Ariella Fitness, and I said, coach, I have a book. She said, review. She took me through the writing process. Then and I'm not like, she's not like, we are publishing. I say, no, coach, hold on, let's not publish this year. I cannot come out. I can't say this out yet. I'm not ready. I can't say this. This is like my whole life. This is too much. So I was trying to hide that story. I remember one day in church, and God was like, sister, you don't have to be qualified. And I'm like, are you serious? If you check, we single people, I think I am called to PCOS single women more than PCOS married women because I am currently single. So for that PCOS single woman, or for any woman who feels because of one thing or the other, you've been disqualified, you don't fit the criteria anymore. I am that girl who feels, I've felt it over and over again. You maybe you lost your womb, maybe something. I'm telling you, the message God gave me that I try to hold on to when I am in this. But sometimes I also cry and tell him, are you sure? This isn't, there's no guarantee. I was the type of girl that is like, God, in fact, I went to God in prayer. I'm like, confirm my husband. If you want me to do this, confirm that you've kept a man for me. Then I will now tell them the story. I wanted guarantees. I wanted God to be able to tell me, this man, as in your marriage is not a. I wanted guarantees, but that was for the first time. God answered, as in God is speaking to you. That He was so clear, saying, "No, you're not getting any damn guarantee. I'm not answering this one." That was. Have you heard a no before? That it was loud. I said, "This one." I was like Gideon. Gideon didn't agree. Now, Gideon said
Yeah.
he will go if you confirm. Can you please? This prayer is a Gideon prayer. Help me confirm, husband, before I go out and be shouting PCOS. God
Mm.
said, I ain't answering that. I said, oh, I had to, because it was a test of my faith. I can't come out and be telling you everything will be all right, and I am not faithful enough to think that He that gave me a life purpose won't give me a life partner. So, as I'm saying, sister, find, if God has given you a life purpose, whatever you're struggling with, He has given you this life. He has given you a purpose for the life. He will bring a partner that will work with you to play in His purpose. So there's a life purpose for a life partner. That's one of the things I got to realize. And you don't have to be qualified. See, we are not qualified for Christ's love. All the people in the Bible, all my favorite Bible stories, Ruth was not qualified. She wasn't qualified for Boaz. She was already a widow. Neither was Mary qualified for Joseph. She had a pregnancy she couldn't explain. I'm Catholic, so there's this part of the Bible we have that you might not have. Is the book of Tobit. So Tobit was supposed to marry a girl with 7 demons that has all her previous 7 husbands has died on her wedding night. That girl wasn't qualified in two. In fact, an angel, I think Angel Raphael had to step in so she could be delivered. So
That one
none
is
of
not in the Bible.
there's
That one is not in the Bible. That one is not in
no,
the
I'm
Bible.
Catholic. I
Okay.
am
Okay.
Catholic, so we read
Okay.
an extra book. There's an
Okay.
extra book in most, if you the in Good News Bible. So there's an extra book for Catholics. So
Okay.
that's another
Okay.
story I
Let's
love.
stay with
You might
it.
not get, you might
Yeah.
not
Okay.
get. So I'm just saying these are stories I enjoy that gives me hope. Apart from that one, even Esther, the favorite, the people from the get go. So these ones are people who, it wasn't by their qualification or them having all the rights. You're 10 feet tall, you are fertile by this one, you are this. It wasn't by this qualification. It's God, and He has His way around things. I feel the more disqualified you are, the bigger the miracle. There's someone's stories I heard, and she was like, when she told her husband she had fibroid, the husband was like, okay, that's a bigger testimony. And that's one that gave me hope, because this one is like when God provides the person, Oga will move on without you be here disqualifying yourself. Oga has moved on and paid bride price. Do you understand? So
Mm.
I want us to walk in that confidence and walk with God on that level, that He's able to give us our heart desires, even when it comes to marriage. There's Are you going to have to struggle? Are you going to have issues? Yes, but at the end, God has never promised us a safe, like a peaceful journey. All He's guaranteeing you is that there will be a very good landing. As you're
Mm.
coming, you say, my daughter, you have done well, and that He will walk with you through whatever you have to walk through now. Eh?
Mm. Wow.
As the recent saying, wahala be like bicycle, or that it doesn't, like, life is always going this way, but through those meanderings and problems of life, He will hold you through, even through the valley of shadow of death, of singleness, of loneliness, of hurt. God will walk with you. And then
Wow.
at the end, you can say, green, I lay in green pastures and everything. That is what He's promising. I have to say, because even as I speak to you, I am afraid of it too. I get scared. I can finish
Mm.
this story now, and then I'll run back and be like, I've overtalked to see the way my mouth was sharp. Who guaranteed me anything? I have asked for
Mm.
guarantee. They told me no. So, so I get worried too. So for single people, I understand. I get worried too. I'm an Igbo girl. My essence, you see, get married, have a big wedding. It has been on my fantasy and night dream list since I dream about it. I'm dreaming about a big wedding. I want it loud. So we all want it. And I know you all want, but last, now God get power. This, I think, now who no get problem, no God. I like to say that because my problem drove me deeper into God. Because last it's only Him. He said, Oluwa, you have to run this one for me. If it is by qualification, I don't think I'm going to meet the criteria. So this is really for the single people. Then besides that, I like to say PCOS is not an infertility sentence. It is not an infertility sentence. Why? I give you a simple, very, very good story. What has happened to me? I remember one day I went to a hospital. Let me not mention the name because I'm not ready for legal actions yet. So the
That's
guy
fine.
says, so the guy says, and I enter in. We are doctors. What have you not seen? I was already checking out the doctor. This one is a bit young, maybe late 30s. And then he goes, fine, how are you? And I'm like, fine. Okay. He looks at my case and then he says, are you seeing anyone? Remember, I was already checking him out, and I go, oh Jesus, today is the day. Lord Jesus, I was all excited. And he said, and I said, no. He said, how is fine girl like you not seeing anyone? And I'm getting all G3 and this has to be a love story today. I found him. And Oga goes, how can a fine girl like you not have anyone? And I'm all excited. Then I told him, nothing serious. Nothing serious, really. Hoping for the next question will be, you know, somebody will shoot shot and I will catch shots. It shocked me. You understand when I say it shocked me? It shocked me. Then Oga goes, you cannot afford to be doing shakara or making choices. You have to take, as in, you don't have time. Your eggs are more fertile when you're young. Take the next anyone. If there's anybody who is asking you and you are still doing shakara, please accept now because your eggs are fertile more. This one and this one. The question I asked was, should I sell myself to the first bidder? It's not highest, though, it's first. Like after this conversation, what I was supposed to do was, as I'm coming down from the clinic, I meet the first guy. I say, guy, come. Are you single? Yes. Okay. I don't even ask question. I take him to any legal to the courts. We do wedding sharp. And I'm like, we need to get pregnant today. Maybe that was what I was supposed to do. Because I was 24 then. I'm 27 now. That was what I heard. Your eggs are more fertile. Biologically, very correct. But in a case of a PCOS woman, there's still an issue. Yes, as at then, when I met him then, all my hormones, if I give you my hormonal profile result from then and now, all my hormones were practically imbalanced. So trust me, even if I jump out from that hospital and married the next man, there will still be issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now here am I'm here 33 years on, Abby. But I know now that if I walk into a marriage, my chances of fertility are second to none. Why? Because I have tackled my hormonal imbalance at a level that in fact, my recent test results, my doctor was like, wow. Because he looked at where I was and where I am now, and he's like, wow, you really did this.
Wow.
There is
Wow.
and I'm like, doctor, I'm not sure. Are you sure? Are you sure I'm ovulating? He said, yes, I can see your progesterone is this. I am sure you're ovulating. I feel you're okay. I said, I want to rerun this test. And he's telling me I'm okay. What am I saying in effect? Don't let them push you into what you are not ready for. And because see, PCOS is already hard. Your mood is already a mess. Your mental health needs to be secured. Stress is a problem for you. You can't even afford to get stressed. Don't, because of say you have PCOS, you need to get pregnant quickly, you are looking for, and you now go and collect another problem. If you marry a man that can't walk you through the PCOS, you now marry the wrong one. Problem go be, how do they say it in Yoruba? It go plenty.
And
I don't know how it will,
no,
it will plenty.
I like what you said there, okay, because a lot of times we miss it. And you can't, sometimes it's done in error, sometimes it's done because we're afraid, like you said, typically a lady, will be like, oh, I only have one egg, I only have one fallopian tube and all that, and I must go with any first person that I've gone, that is going to ask me out.
First
And
bidder.
because of that, go, into a wrong relationship, do wrong things that they're not supposed to do, but you've mentioned something there, because even if you have gone with the first bidder, that wasn't the only issue. You need to secure your hormone. Your mental health needs to be okay. Your state of mind. So if you don't have a partner or friends or family of the support, you are going from fire into, I don't know, whatever is higher than fire. And it's so important, when people are going, and that's why we do finding purpose in pain, where you can actually find a place to express yourself. Reach out to us if you are there. There's so much help that you can get, rather than getting into unnecessary problems that is not the solution. A lot of people do different things. Of course, we know that yes, there's a time that you do not know, but now that you know, now that you have Oge telling you that this is what you should do, don't be carried away by the news, by what people tell you. Oh, you have to be quick, you have to do all that. Stay with the word of God. Let his word lead you. Let him, I like what you said, that he that gives a life purpose, will he not give a life partner? He that has created you, will he not have provision for you? He that has called you to this world, no matter how difficult, is able to do far more than what we can think or imagine, irrespective of what the journey of life throws at you. The only thing you have to do is trust. Is it painful? Yes. Is it difficult waiting in those periods? Yes. Are there times that you cry and fall and do? Yes. But in that journey is a process. But where you have to stay is staying with his word and staying with a God that never fails, and seeking practical help and solution, medically, psychologically, counseling, whatever help is available for you to be able to walk through, that journey. Okay.
So I like to say something else. I think. So, okay, I have these sayings I go by. First of all, in Nigeria, I understand that when you have PCOS, the question is not, can you conquer your PCOS? People ask you, can you conceive with PCOS? Please, your desire should be conquering your PCOS. Because once you can conquer, you can conceive. It's not I've seen too many PCOS babies to be worried about conception. Wow. I've seen one ovary babies to be bothered. In fact, safe, I even hear there are no womb babies. So that one, let's conquer. For me, your recovery should come before your reproduction. Recovery before reproduction. Because if you take out time to begin to do the things to recover, and when I say recovery, it's not about popping all the pills, medicine and all. The root of PCOS, at the root, is your lifestyle, your diet, your health, your rest. So that's what is at the root. These are the things that will begin to help you before, so that when you're now taking the small drugs you have to take, it will work. Okay. So if you don't fix the base and you are pouring drugs on top, nothing will shake, nothing will happen. So please, recovery before reproduction. I say it whenever I can. Recovery before reproduction. You can have your dream body and your dream baby, but will it take time? Will it be tough? Will you get angry? Even will you want to give up? Yes. But you can go from your overwhelmed state right now to your overcome. You can even go beyond to overflow, because the overcomer is still on the throne. The overcomer is still on the throne. Like right now, I'm like, because there's a lot of things that are easy for people that might be difficult for you. So I don't know how others do it, but for me, like at the end, I can get angry at God, but I can't do without him. So we can be angry, but we are still together. So that's where I am. So please, let's focus on recovery, so that and you have to start doing recovery before marriage, before everything. So the problem most of us have is that we know there is problem, but we don't fix it. There's a video I did and I was like, so now you will not see a gynecologist as a single girl. You will not do any checkup. You will not check what is wrong. But once you get married, your mother-in-law comes after 2 weeks. Nothing is happening here yet. Where is the pregnancy? Then you start seeing 3. You did not see 1 before marriage, and you knew there was a problem. It's now when you are married, you want to be seeing 3. Single people, this one is for me, I'm in that stage. So we need to start tackling our problem now. If you know you have problem, let's tackle it now. You cannot afford to carry this problem. You have not, at least I know where I am in this problem level. So that when, I'm not saying you have to solve all your problems before that Oga will now come when you are at a perfect place. I am not saying you have to be perfect. Remember, you don't have to be qualified. But do you have to start acting for the future you want? It's now you start changing your diet. It's now you start eating healthy. It's now you start making the changes. It's now you start seeing gynecology. It's now you start taking treatment. So as you're on that journey, what will happen? When you finally meet him, you know that now most of the background issues have been tackled. We are looking at conception. It's not that you are coming with, you have not been seeing period for 10 years. You are now coming and you want doctor to fix a problem of no period for 10 years immediately and then give you baby on top. It makes it difficult. So let's start nourishing our body now so that it can nurture our babies later.
Wow. I like that, because, and anybody listening, please listen, because I'm hearing that for the first time, that as a single person, start going to the gynecologist to make sure go and do all the tests. So if you're listening to Oge, she's saying as a single person, prepare yourself, go and find out, because there's something I say, and for me, it's a mantra, the responsibility is mine. So if anything is not working, the responsibility is mine. So you take the responsibility of your health, of your body, of your spirituality, everything, and take it. So, okay, moving on to the next question. I know that you have moved from a place of recovery, because PCOS, as we know, has no cure as of today. When I was reading that, but you said something that you've been able to work, and that's what you're also doing as of today. Also, you've been able to stabilize your hormone. You've been able to know how to eat right and do all that. So what advice would you give to people in terms of recovering, in terms of eating right? Because you're all for diet and all that, because you lost 20 kg last year.
20 kg. Yeah, this year, from March to now. So it's been 20
I need to be your friend, if you can lose 20 kg. So tell us, how can people use their, what have you done? What did you do? And I know you also have a page also that you help people. Tell us about
healthy
your diet and all that.
My healthy living page. Okay, so first of all, I like to say that, I can tell you now that I'm better where I am in my PCOS, right? But that doesn't mean I'm cured, though. PCOS is it's like diabetes. You can manage, but you can't cure. So, but unlike diabetes, it's like diabetes that you can't cure. But unlike diabetes, when you start managing it well, it can go into, will I call it remission? But remission is not the right word. It can go low. Everything will look okay. But trust me, don't be deceived. Everything can get back to being okay. But once you change the healthy environment that you have given your body to heal, you change it back and you start doing, like now, there's a lot of things I've cut out. I've cut out sugar. I've cut out anything I see, the unhealthy things. I've cut out things. And then my body is beginning to feel okay to recover.
How about ice cream?
I'm not a sweet tooth. I'm not a sweet tooth. I actually can do without ice cream. I'm more of an overeater. I can eat volumes, and that is still something associated to my hormones anyway, but I can eat volumes. So that is what I try to watch. So I'm saying I can have ice cream occasionally, but I can't have ice cream every time because my body is not something I can. So occasionally, maybe once in a month I can. Do you get? But because I'm not a sweet tooth, I try to enjoy the ones I want to do wrong. I have if I want to eat heavy ones, I know I try and figure out how to balance it out. We're not saying you're going to have to live a life of eating just greens and water. No. But all I'm saying is that understand that PCOS is a lifestyle problem. So you need lifestyle changes. But please, when you start recovering, don't go back to your old ways because everything will come back. I've had that issue before.
What kind of lifestyle changes?
I will talk about the lifestyle changes. I'll talk about the lifestyle changes. I had a relapse. I've had a relapse. In fact, why my case got worse was because I lost weight, felt better, my period regularized, everything. Then I now went and gained back the weight. I lost 11 kg. That was in 2016 or 17 and gained back 20. And that was when my PCOS became brutal because the body has known better. I now brought everything, and I started doing everything I stopped doing. I started doing all the wrong again. So when he came back, he didn't pity me. It was ready to practically tear me to shred. Everything went wrong. Every hormone shut up. They're like, they don't even have your time. So please, once you start this lifestyle changes, it's a gradual process. Please continue. It is for life. So that's why there's no competition. Gradually, eliminate what you can eliminate that is not good for you and go on. I have 4 acronyms for what I do, for I think 5. And this is what I just added some of my own personal own. For a PCOS person, you would have had lifestyle changes. And what are the things they tell you to look out for? They tell you to look out for your rest. You need rest. Because when it comes to PCOS, one of the greatest problems is cortisol hormone. That's another hormone that hormone, it's for helping you manage stress and all. But that hormone can trigger up every other one and make your life miserable. So we are very stress averse. So even if you have to, I live in Lagos, I work in an aggressive environment. I agree, but I still find time. You have to find that I can't keep myself time and get your body back. And that is why I really like the lockdown, because I started my weight loss journey and we went on lockdown. That was how I could do it, because with my work, it would have been stressful. That period gave me a period of healing. I could easily take my way, back up and recover. So you need to occasionally find time. Is it meditation? Is it having a bath that will help you? Is it finding a way to calm down? Just find a way to your sleep. When I talk about rest, you can't play with sleep. Sleep is when your body recovers. Is when your body takes care of repair. So you need to get your sleep in order and get as much sleep as you before. My coach always says, sleep is for the weak. They lied. You need sleep. It's not for the weak. When I understand that we're all trying to make the money, so they tell you sleep less, but it's when you are healthy, you can make money. So you need to factor your sleep. Secondly, exercise. And with exercise, I am not asking you to run a marathon. I'm not asking you to do the heavy ones. I am asking you to have at least 15 to 30 minutes exercise, which can be walking, which can be a small jog, which can be just dancing in your room, which can be, if it is skipping, which can be running around with your kids. And no, you have to be intentional about exercise. It's not that I walk around the market today, I think I've exercised enough. No, you have to intentionally get the 6 steps in, get the movements in. But with exercise, please, I am preaching consistency, not intensity. Women with PCOS cannot afford, it's not, some of us react. I've told you about the hormone, cortisol, the stress hormone. That hormone, it's waiting for you. There's a way you will exercise. That hormone will just take it as stress. You are stressing me. It's exercise you think you are doing though, but that hormone is saying you are stressing me. And once it says you are stressing me, it begins to stress every other hormone in your body. We have to get ready to manage stress. Do you get? I'm trying to use non-biological ways to help you understand. So you have to do exercise, moderate exercise. You don't need to stress. Consistency over intensity over time. Because let me tell you people, I know they tell you exercise to lose weight. Exercise does not really help you lose much. Your weight loss is mainly what you eat. Because I exercised, I did one exercise one day. It was on a machine that could count calories. And after I have killed myself for 10 minutes, I look at the thing. It says less than 100 calories burned. Yeah, just one bread. And maybe, and that our Nigerian tea. That combination alone might give me up to 500 calories. And all the thing I did in the gym for 10 minutes is 100 calories. So you see, most times we eat more than we exercise. You can never exercise lose out of equivalent of what you're eating. And that is why you need to take it down on the food. It's mainly food. So don't try and kill yourself on exercise because you are thinking the exercise will burn all the food you have been eating. Most times you are eating 10 times more than you're exercising in calories counts. Do you get? So consistency over intensity. Do not overcompensate because you have exercised. You want to overeat. It doesn't work that way. And please, do not also over-exercise. So do not overcompensate, do not over-exercise. Consistency over intensity. That is my acronym too, exercise. My last one is your diet. See, your food can make you sicker. Your food can make you sicker. It's like just like your car. A bad fuel, when you fuel your car with all this rubbish, not very refined, you might not have it where you are in the UK. UK people, sorry, I know you don't have that problem. But for us here, in case you are buying from filling station that they've mixed kerosene inside fuel, or people will say this fuel I bought here is the reason. It can, they tell you there's some things that can knock engine, and that's the same way your body is. If you're putting in the wrong fuel, you will get the wrong, you won't heal. And that is why I preach these three: rest, exercise, and diet first before I preach. I've not called any medicine here. Why? Because if these three are in order, your medicine will work better. These three are what tackles the root problem. When they are getting when you're getting better on this, you see, the medicine you are eating, a diabetic person cannot be eating all the sugar and be taking insulin. It doesn't work that way now. Do you understand? If you have diabetic people around you, you find out that they control what they eat, even though they can occasionally have things, but they control it so that the insulin they are taking can work. It applies. You have to first of all nourish your body so that your medicine can work. So your diet. See, I think that's one of the reasons I run a healthy food page at Ninja Fit Foodie on Instagram, because I realized that it was diet long. It was diet that was going to help me. Diet is the way forward. So do I say, I keep saying add more.
So in diet, what are, to be practical now, because
what are the things I could do?
What are the things
diet
that we need to take off from our diet, to help us? Because I don't even think it's only ladies with PCOS, because you said everybody, we need to take care of.
Everybody needs to eat health. Exactly. Giving us is our temple.
Do we need to take off? Yeah.
So most of our food, I'm not the person that say I stop eating rice, I stop eating beans, I stop eating this. The problem is not stop eating anything, except I will give you three. There are three things I say stop. These are the only three things. And if you check them, they call them the three white poison. Not my words actually, but if you put online now three white poison, you will see them. The first one is refined sugar. Refined sugar.
That's the
refined sugar is your table. Yes, the white table sugar. It doesn't. That one is just. It doesn't do much for you. It doesn't have. It doesn't
Can you
have.
See me covering my face? Can you see me covering my
face? So I'm not saying. I know you still want to have your sweet things. So I use honey when I want to have something sweet. There's also what they call stevia. I think that's a plant. I hear it can also act as a substitute. Just find healthy alternatives to white sugar. I'm not going to ask you to cut any other thing apart from these three things. And the first thing is white sugar. Please. That one, it just shoots up your insulin. It doesn't have value. It doesn't have any nutritional value apart from your sweet tooth. It doesn't actually. So find other healthy alternatives. Second thing I'll say is regular flour. Regular flour. Sorry, like not flour. Yeah, regular flour. The regular flour has been so processed that a lot of things have been taken out of it. Some of the regular flour is coming, even when it's coming from wheat, they've removed all part of wheat and made it so. And the reason they are doing it is because we like fine things. If I give you wheat bread now, not everybody will like wheat bread, because wheat bread we have something like seeds, right? It's not so good to chew. You like your beautiful white that, as in when you're eating, it can almost lick it, and it's it can melt in your mouth. But the thing is that the more processed it is, the lesser nutrients it has, because as they are processing it, they're removing stuffs. It's like when you're trying to clean out something, you clean and clean and it's not giving you the appearance. You keep removing stuffs to make it better and better and cleaner, but we're losing nutrients. So I try not to do regular flour, except most of these three things I'm telling you, I'm not going to ask you to cut it out 100%, because I know you're already used to it. So I ask you to start with 50%. The goal is to be able to get to a place where 80% of the time you are eating the right things. Wow. And then 20%, because you must still chop life now. I still eat at one best, there are some people who have discipline to be able to cut it out. But I beg, my life just started. I beg, I like to enjoy my life too. So I try to balance. So I ask you to take the 80-20 rule approach. 80% of the time, if it is an exam, you get 80. Even nobody can fail you. So get 80 with your health. You get. Wow. And that 20%, if you get 80 right, your body will not mind that 20. Because I react to sugar. But you find out that when my diet is 80 to 90% on point, I won't. My body won't notice when the sugar comes in. And I get people with PCOS have some sensitivity. It can be sugar, it can be gluten, it can be dairy, we all have that ones. So there are reasons for that, but let's not go into that. So please, for the flour, what have I?
Okay, go on.
Okay, so for the flour, what do you use as alternative? Our Bambara flour is our local, for the Igbos, is our local upper flour. That's what the Igbos have. That flour has begun match. I think a match on it. People are using it for baking, and it's a good alternative, and it is a richer alternative. There's oat flour. There's what are the other flours? I can't remember right now. there are flours that are not for me. I use oat flour most times. I
Okay.
use
So the
oat
oat
flour
is
most times.
better.
And for my, yeah, and yes, oat is richer. It has fiber. The fiber is good for you. It helps you cleanse out your system. It helps,
Okay.
so oat has more fiber. So then there is what do I do? There is I can't remember what I wanted to say, but then so I was talking about oat flour. So for bread, I do wheat bread because I'm a
Okay.
bread fan and I couldn't
Okay.
cut it out permanently. So most of the
Okay.
time I'm doing wheat bread. For rice,
Okay.
sometimes I still eat my white rice because I'm in Nigeria. Basmati, even the basmati is still refined. So, but please, you can do brown rice. You can do our local ofada. You can do all those our local rice because you see, you always see the difference. That local rice that you don't like because it has something like chaff. Let's leave the
Mm.
stones. It's not supposed to have stones. Those chaffs are
Mm.
fiber. They are good for you. Unlike but the more refined it is, the better you like it. I understand that. But you need to start, somebody said I had to be doing affirmation. Vegetable is good for me. This thing, like you don't like it, but you say it that I like it, is good for me to enable them eat it. Whatever you have to do. And the last thing I say you should cut out is raw salt. Apart
Oh.
from this thing that salt no to catch. There's no I speak pidgin. Sorry, I hope the people in the abroad can understand me.
We're
So
trying to.
so when I say there's not too much salt, the salt is not enough, and then you go and get salt and you want to add extra white salt, leave the salt. We don't need too much salt, and this is why. And if you for people that are hypertensive and all, please bring it down on the salt. Just use little to cook. You need ions, I agree, but not as much as we pack it. Most of our food are already salty. There's a little bit of salt coming in from your seasonings. There's salt coming in from your, from all those things that are coming, seafoods and all. So let's take it down on the salt. No raw salt, except cooked salt, something that let's keep it. So these are the three things: raw salt, regular flour, and white sugar.
White
So these are
sugar.
the three things I ask you to refine sugar. These are the three things I say cut out. Then, aside
Wow.
cutting out these three things, everything that is of nature, every food that is of nature, the greens, the veggies, the fruits, the carbs, I mean sweet potato, yam, rice, all those things, you can
Okay.
have them.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can have them. But
That's
then you have to have
in
them portion controlled.
yeah.
Portion
Okay.
controlled. Another of our problem is that we eat too large a portion. If you come from where I come from, then you know that eating one mold of eba you have not started. We need to gauge well, especially, and then we go on with this habit. In fact, when our children are young, we are the ones who start them on overfeeding, and then tomorrow we tell them you are too fat, you need to slim down. We want chubby babies, but we want slim ladies. Cole balance. You have given that child work in between to be losing the chubbiness you gave him, and you're the same person that will complain. So we need to consciously monitor our portions. Walai, I still struggle with portions till date. If there's anything I'll struggle with, it's in portion control. So for me, I use measuring cups because I'm on a weight loss journey. So I actually measure. I don't go above 2 cups, except when it's only when I'm fasting I go to 2 cups. I try to stay between 1 and 1.5 of rice, of beans, of legumes, and all those things. And how do
Okay.
I fill up?
Okay.
I fill up with veggies because my portions are really small. I have to
Okay.
fill up with lots of veggies. So if you check my page, I eat veggies like they are going out of season. What do
Okay.
I snack on? I snack on fruits. I also like nuts. But the truth is that nuts are very healthy, but very fattening.
Mm.
Very healthy, but very fattening. So when you are eating nuts, it's very good for you. I don't say don't eat nuts. But I can eat a bottle of granite, so I don't buy bottle. I'm in Nigeria, so granite, peanuts, I like it. I like cashew nuts. I like those. So I try to control the quantity I eat because they can also be healthy, can be fattening. Avocado
Mm.
is healthy, but it's also
It's
fattening.
fine.
So what
Yeah.
do you do? Those ones, you eat a little bit of them at a time. It's not so add veggies, less carbs, but you can have your carb, you can have varieties, just portion control, portion control.
I
And then
think
please
I
cut
think
out
for
the other
me,
ones.
yeah, I think for me also because of time, I think it's all about, doing things in moderation, like you said, you
Exactly,
know,
exactly.
and one of the things I tell people, most of the thing and most of the things that you enjoy to do, you need to check, is this good for me? And the same thing with sin, the same
Exactly.
thing with habits that we are used to, you know, And it can be anything, whatever you do, it has to be in moderation. You have to be able to check. I remember there was a time I was asking somebody, because I think I was at work some few times, some time back, and I saw my boss. Then we went for there's something that we do in the UK, which is like team outing, and we went to a pub, which is
Okay.
like a place that they drink and all that. We ate and all that. But when we finished, he was so drunk, as in so drunk that he didn't even remember that he went
Don't
to
do
the ATM to get money. He couldn't remember. And I remember that we got to work the next day and everybody was laughing because he was really, really embarrassed. And one of the questions when it came to me was like, oh, Shay, what happened? Because we were kind of close. And the only question I could ask him at that point is there not something in you that gauge that I've drunk enough? Is enough? Stop. And he was laughing. I was like, no, that's where the fun is. But I think from what you have said, the most important thing is doing things in moderation. And I'm
Sure.
just going to also pause here to say something to everybody watching us today before we round up, because I'm looking at the time. You are a
Okay.
priority. You need to make yourself a priority. It doesn't matter
Yes, you
what
are.
other people are doing. It doesn't matter what you are a priority. And that's what I do with finding purpose. For you to be able to find purpose, maintain purpose, you must make yourself that priority. And the responsibility of making yourself a priority lies within you. And that's why I do what I do. To be able to help people to say, yes, anything would have happened to you, but you still matter. God still took his time to create you.
To
He still
create
went
you.
all the way to get you to where you are. You do matter, my friend. You do matter, my brother. You do matter. Even to that child, I keep saying it. You matter. I'm making yourself a power. And to anybody watching us today, and you're going through one thing or the other, and life is like a full stop to you. You look at your account, and I can tell you so many stories, so many stories. You look at your account, and there's nothing there, and you're wondering, oh, I don't have any money, and life feels as if, oh, it's gone. You look at a lady, she has everything put together, and you look at your life, I cannot even afford, to do my hair and things like that. And you're in that point of your life that life seems as if it's a full stop. You do matter. It's a matter of
There's
time. He always gets
exactly.
better. If you're watching us, if you're watching, and that's why you have to be in an environment. You need to get people that you can confide you. That's why we are. If you need to talk to me, please send an email. We're here. We have a team of people that we work with, that can help, that can provide help. We have the free 30 minutes consultation that you can call, that we can just talk. There was a lady that I had a chat with yesterday, and she was like, if not for anything, this talk that I've had with you is my week is all made. And that's
You
why we are
see?
here to help you find your purpose, exactly, to
And
help you find your purpose, irrespective of what you are going through. It doesn't have to be bereavement, it doesn't have to be anything. You matter. What is your thoughts like? If God, I tell people, if you have a camera, a mirror, mirroring your thoughts every day, would you blame the thought for what you have produced? Because if the mirror that you're looking at yourself when nobody is there, you're looking at yourself and the mirror is saying you're not good enough. You're looking at the mirror and saying, look at my nose. You're looking at the mirror and saying, look at her mouth. You're looking at her, oh, she's not even worth anything. I'm not good. Why am I qualified? And those are all the thoughts that are showing in your mirror. At the end of it, the mirror will reflect what it's saying. So you can't blame the mirror. So you need to make your priority. You need to get your mindset straight. You need to be able to
sure.
know that. And I like what you said there also. Okay, you said, my coach said this. It is important that you have a coach. Is it important that you have a mentor? It is important that you have people that can hold you. A
Sure.
friend of mine also yesterday, she had her 30 minutes. She was like, from now, I'll start calling you Coach Seyi because she's very close to me. But it's so important. The realistic thing is that you need somebody that you can talk to, that can give you the right advice. That even when all those thoughts, all those hormones keep flying, you
Sure.
can call on somebody. I was also with a
Sure.
coach of mine, because I call her coach, and her. Steph, and she was talking. By the time we finished, I was like, wow, it was fantastic
Sure.
speaking to you for this few minutes. She made my day yesterday. And that's why it's so important for you to actually help you, because I like that, Abiola, no man is an island. Abiola said, no mind is an island. You need people. You need the right environment. If you're in an environment that they keep pulling you down, run, as in run. Don't wait, run. If you're with people that keep telling you, or you're always on the edge that, oh, all these people talk about is the bag, is the new Gucci, is the new VL and all that, and you're uncomfortable, run away. Look for an environment of growth. Look for and that's what we do with the people that we coach. Look for an environment that can help you move. We are in November in 2020. 2021 is beautiful. And like I tell people, there's so much still good with 2020 that will make a difference in your life. So don't give up on 2020. I think we've lost Oge, but I will just continue until we come. Don't give up on 2020. 2020 is still beautiful. This is the time, this month of November, sit down with yourself. Where do you see yourself at the end of December? Where would you picture yourself? And don't make your decision based on what you have with you now. Don't base your decision on what you have in your bank account or on what you have. Okay, I think we've got Oge back. Don't base your dream. Yeah. Don't base what you are going to plan today based on what you have. Don't base those dreams on your bank account. Don't base those dreams on where you live. Dream big. Look beyond yourself. If Oge can move, if in fact I'm challenged, if she can lose 19 kg within I think I'll start mine before December. So think big, and make sure you are a priority. My last question, or second to the last question, Oge. How would you say you have found purpose? I know you've mentioned your page and your book. How would you say you have found purpose in this pain that you have gone through?
I feel purpose is the way you make the world better generally. It's the way you represent God here. See, you can have a profession, but purpose is that job that God gave you to do. So that's why there are a few people who have been able to marry purpose and profession. And that is the goal for me. But for now, my profession is an entirely different field. And my purpose is in an entirely different field. There's nothing meeting it too. I'm working towards having, maybe when I'm 40, I could have matched the two. But before that, yet, I feel I've found purpose. For me, it's a journey of pain to purpose. Because there was a time, it's a journey of pain to purpose, overwhelm to overcome. That is how I see my journey. There was a time, all I saw was pain. There was a time I cried there. When I started my healing journey, then I had a series of financial loss. I'm like, there was a day, in fact, for a nanosecond, when they say suicide, it looks far. For PCOS women, you already know your mental health is one kind. You're having mood swings. Sometimes you can't even explain it. I tell people, some of my two top reasons for mood swings, you see, money and man. Those two things, they can change my mood from happy to sad for no reason. And sometimes my mood will just swap. So I'm saying our mental health is already another thing. So there was a time I was in a very low pain point that when I look back today, I'm like, God is impossible. As in, I thought it was impossible. So I see that it is possible. He made it possible for me. So now I use my story saying to other people, it is possible. There's a point, when I talk about coaches or talk about not just coaches, other people's stories. Your story is somebody's. I learned that recently. Your story is somebody's guiding how they script for life. What you have gone through. If you're able to, not everybody has, there are some things I know and I think, doesn't she know it? I'm telling someone how to make smoothie and the person is saying, do you do this? Should we add garden egg? And I'm like, this is simple now, it's basic. But she doesn't know it. It's where she's coming from. So because I've been making smoothies all my life, I've been blending for people, I can teach her that. So something as simple as that, I have gone through PCOS. I want to hide it. Honestly, not crushing my crushes is key to me. I keep saying, I want to hide it. I don't want to be vulnerable. But there are so many people. If 1 in 10 women is dealing with it, I feel God has called me to help those 1 in 10 women not go through what I went through. Because Oge suffered at 12. Your daughter doesn't have to suffer at 12. Your sister doesn't have to suffer at 12. Even if they have PCOS, they will PCOS. Some people, when you meet some very white people with PCOS, is a pamper disease. They take care of themselves, everything prim and proper. That even if you have it, you'll be able to live your life prim and proper, not stress yourself. Be like, I can't do this because even if you have it already, we know there's no care, but you'll be able to live your life to the fullest with it. So my purpose so far is helping other PCOS women overcome. God has done it for me, but he didn't do it for me alone. I had people. Like Passions Boss, I still mention her. I'm Nigerian. She was one woman. The first time I heard her talk about her PCOS, I'm like, so the people talk openly about PCOS in Nigeria. Because when my case started, you put it, nobody is talking about it. We are all hiding. We are all hiding. Now, if you want them to say it's me that is not qualified, so we are all hiding. But because people spoke up, now I can speak up. And I hope that people will begin to regain their voice, that people will learn about PCOS, that people will understand that it is okay not to be okay. Like my
Wow.
favorite, I think is there's a K drama like that. It's
Yeah.
okay not to be okay. It's okay to have your challenges, but thrive in spite of it all. So
Wow.
my purpose, I feel, is PCOS women. How we can make your life better, how I can help to make your life better in my own small way, by sharing my story. Because I believe that telling is training, can be training, not every time. Sometimes when you hear things, they shape who you become. And sharing is caring,
Mm.
even though sharing is scary. Like it makes you afraid sometimes, but it's
Mm.
also caring. Because for
Wow.
me to push aside my fears and reach out to you with my story, and most of the things I say now, I'm scared for some certain people to say it. But I know there's still some certain people who must see it to thrive. So this is
I,
how I am doing the little I am doing to help.
yeah, yeah. And I really, really, really agree with you, and before we get into how people will find you, people will find you, and we'll talk about that just in a few minutes before we end. It's so important. And I like what you said, is that because you are doing it doesn't seem as if it's not scary. I remember
It's
the first
scary.
time when I came out and I told people, "Oh, here is a lady that was widowed at 28," and I started going from one place speaking, and it was difficult. When I had to
Yeah.
write a book, at the point I had to write a book to say, "This is what I do. If you know anybody, let me know. I will go from door to door. Do you have anybody that I can help? Do you have anybody, please? If you know anybody, if you know that just lost their spouse, can you come across and can you let me know?" And that's where all this journey. So for you out there that you're looking at, that you're watching us today, and you're scared, it's going to be scary, but you're saving a life. It's going to be
True.
scary, and don't forget what fear is: false evidence appearing real. You'll be scared, but do it scared anyway, do it afraid anyway, and go all out, because you might be saved. Like she said, your story might be somebody's life script that they will work with. So finally, okay, how can people find you?
Okay. We've really talked a lot. I've talked too much this night, but I hope this all these things I've said, that it helps someone. How do you
Yeah.
find me? For now, Instagram,
Okay.
Instagram. So I think I that's why I put at Ninja Fit Foodie. So once you search on Instagram with at Ninja Fit Foodie, you'll find
Okay.
me. For now,
Fantastic.
most of my talk about PCOS healthy living is only on Instagram. Yet is only on
Okay.
Instagram for now. That's the only
Fantastic.
social media platform I use for PCOS, for healthy living, for my weight loss journey. That is where I put it on. Secondly, yeah, that is it. Then that's also where my book, I wrote a book as well. That is also how I hope to reach out to other PCOS women, create awareness. It's not
Mm,
only PCOS women that should know about PCOS. Others have to know, because if there is 1 in 10, you know someone with PCOS. I
mm,
used to think I don't know anybody. I used to think it was outside. It's
mm.
If you check your circle well, it's just that nobody would speak up. So you know
Yeah.
someone. So we need to get to that level when when somebody has malaria now, we can even play doctor and say, I think you have malaria. I think we need to get to that level where we are saying, I think you have PCOS. You need to see a gynecologist. I think you have PCOS. You need to see a gynecologist. That is the goal. I want us to be
Yeah.
able to get that. And I want us to be able to empathize and feel PCOS women if we have them in our circle. For the spouses, I want you to be able to love her like Christ loves the church. Not because we're perfect, but because now the one may God give you be that. That's what God gave you.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm on Instagram, and the book link is also on Instagram.
Okay.
I hope you get
Thank
it.
you.
I hope you can also
Yeah.
gift it to others.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're watching us, one of the things I tell people that come on my show, you can put a link of the book. I've got the book myself. I had to get it because I feel, that's also a way that we sow into everybody that comes into our show. So if you are there,
Thank
you're
you.
watching us and you want to get Oge's book, please have send the link there. Please send. We need to get this out there. And if not for anything, like I used to say, if not for anything, and you don't want to give it, can you do me a favor and buy this book? Not because of anything, but because at 12, She's gone through all this just because our society didn't have what it took as a then to actually say this is what you can do without having to remove do the appendicitis, the ovary remover, the fallopian, and all that. So if you're watching me, all I'll ask you, yes, I have my book. Please also get my book. I would not get my book.
Okay, please, for those that don't, if you don't want to read it, you can also just send me a DM, pay for it, and I have people who I can give it out to. People who really need it but can't afford it. So we can
Yeah.
also do it that way. So we can actually do it. Yeah. So that's that's also a way. If you don't want to read, it's fine. I love you to read, but if you don't want to, there are people who need it. So we can also play it
I
that way.
want people to read, because the reason,
Yeah,
when
I
you
want
read,
you to read.
you can see that, oh, I think, like you said, let's get people to that place that they can even say, oh, but that's signs of malaria, so get to read, and also if you're also led up also to give people, reach out to her on Instagram, and let's take it from there. So I would like to say a big thank you to, we've gone over our time.
Pleasure.
It's supposed to be
My pleasure.
it's supposed to be 1 hour, but we've gone, and everybody agree with me that have joined us today that you're quite knowledgeable about what you have, the PCOS. You're also passionate about PCOS. So for me, I'll say thank you that I'm having,
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for having us. And to our viewers, like we do every bi-weekly, I want to say thank you to everyone that's joined us today. My name is Seyi, and my show is Finding Purpose with Seyi, or Finding Purpose with Your Pain. If you're out there, you need somebody to talk to, we've got the 15 minutes consultation that you can just send. I'll put the link also that you can reach out. Don't do this by yourself. It's really not worth it. It's really not worth it. Don't go through the pain. And your questions could be, why should I call this lady and speak to her? I'll tell you, I've been there. I've been through serious pains. I've been through losses. I've just told you I've just lost my first husband at 28. So I have a position. I'm an advanced grief recovery specialist. I'm certified to teach this, but that's not even what I hold on to. I'm led by God to teach you. And it's not even about
most importantly.
It's about giving people the platform, that help. Like I told you, I called somebody today, and that just changed the decision with the situation that and that's all you need. That idea, that emotion that you're going through, it is real. The lady that you're looking at that is talking to you, I've been in the hotel that I had my drugs right in. You said you're thinking of suicide. I actually tried to do the suicide. So I've been through all this journey. Yeah, I've been through the journey of being a single woman with a child. I didn't know where to go. I've been to the issue that I've slept in Asda, without anything there. And that's why I used to tell people, that's when I knew that Asda does not have a chair or a bed. So I've been through, so I qualify to join you in this journey, to move you. Please reach out to me. There's an email there, Seyi, of Finding Purpose at gmail.com. You can also DM me, let's do this together. And there's a webinar that is coming up, and that's what we are doing as our roundup show for 2020. It's going to be in December 6th. And I've called that webinar, it's all about a part of finding purpose. Finding purpose. We want to finish strong. I've called it Finish Strong. The Woman 201, finding your label, finding you, finding your identity. Because we want to do this together, to be able to sit down, strategize. How do we want 2021 to be? Don't wait till 2021 before you start writing your goals and your dream. Let's do it this year, and begin to pray about it, that you can do it. Don't go on any title. Don't go on any label. You are who you are, and you are a priority, and God loves you. So for everyone that's joined us today, thank you so much. Again, to bring you another episode, and my next guest is also an amazing person. So watch out for all the reminder and the notification, and we'll be glad to have you. Thank you so much, Mabel. Thank you, everyone that's joined us today. Please get my book, get Oge's book, reach out, and be a blessing. So one thing I want to leave you with today before we close, the next person that you come in contact with, let your words be life. Be intentionally kind to them. Look at that person and say, oh, can I do this act of kindness to you? What word can I say to this person? What do I need to send a message to through this lockdown that I've not done? I just want to, how are you? How are the kids? How can I help during this season? Are you okay? How is your mental health? Just do something that will bring the life out of you, because there's always good in doing kind acts. So thank you again, and all our viewers. Till we meet again, thank you so much. And thank you. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.